Well, we are back after a little layoff while boxing took a break. Even Eddie Hearn went on holiday. This week, we're
Yeah,
going to talk about Moses Itauma, Dillian Whyte, the undercard, and I guess we're going to talk about Boxer's deal with iPlayer as well.
good to see you, mate. Good to be back.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's been a bit strange because I have sort of I don't know, I feel like I stepped away from box. Well, there wasn't a lot to sort of watch, so
yeah,
I went into hiding a little bit, which is
yeah.
I've got
So,
the beard as well, like I've been hostage for a couple of weeks.
well, that and the specs.
Oh, that's just because I'm now more intelligent than I was before. So
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. Trying to diversify the audience,
we just look
but
too similar. We look too similar. So, I'm just taking
yeah,
action.
I saw a description once of men who look like you and I being described as looking like thumbs, um, and yeah, draw a face on that.
Yeah.
Thumb. So I think it.
You look like a thumb, not me.
Not no, no, God, not now, not now. But yeah, yeah. I'm looking more and more thumb-like by the day. Where should we start then? With the
Let's go
main
on
event?
the big one. Let's go straight in on Itama White because I've had a bit of a I've been all over the shop on this one. So you'll remember that when it was first announced, I sort of laughed and said I think Itama will clean him out in 2 rounds.
Yes.
Last week, I completely changed my mind, and I thought Dillian White's got. I could see him sneaking this one. I could see him. I could see him sending Itama packing. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, I've come completely back around again, and I'm back to where I was.
Yeah, okay, not giving Dillian Whyte a prayer. Well, yeah. I mean, I can see why are where you are and why you've been on that journey. I think when Itauma had his last fight, certainly I was very excited. And we were thinking, how do you place him? Before there was even rumours about it, we were saying like Dillian Whyte would be a great fight because he's a name, and I think because I've been thinking about it as well, obviously, but Dillian Whyte brings a name to the table with just the right amount of risk and test for a Toma to make the step up. He's like a gatekeeper of old, if you like, but he's
Yeah,
better, more pedigree than say, or more world level pedigree than say a Chisora. If you know, it may be being a bit unfair to Chisora, maybe, but I think he was slightly above that when he was at his peak. So I think it's a test of the name. You know, can he handle that? Can he handle Dillian Whyte could take him to places he doesn't want to go physically. So it's going to be a test of the gut. You know, has he got the fight? You know, would he has he got Dubois obviously got a lot of criticism and after the last fight and throughout his career for whether he's got the quit in him. We don't know for Tone Raz yet because we haven't he hasn't been taken to those places. But also it's the first time he'll be the headline of a pay-per-view. It's in Saudi, right? So headline of a
mm.
Riyadh season card, the eyes
Uh,
of the world on him. Is he has he got the head for it as well? So I think it's a really intriguing fight to that extent. I do think again looking at the recent form of Dillian Whyte, he doesn't look great. Even going back to the Fury fight, he didn't really show
mm.
up. Well, he didn't show up to any of the press conferences, if you remember that debacle. Funny, wasn't it? But he didn't. He wasn't really. He didn't give his best representation of himself after he'd been like whether it was 1,000 days waiting for his shot. It's not like he took it.
Yeah,
So
true, very true.
whether now he's like right, I need to beat this young upstart to get myself back at the head table. Um, and so that's what it represents for him. And I think I think to that extent, there's enough jeopardy in there for it to be an interesting fight. What I don't want to happen is Dillian Whyte to show up and just be there for like the danger money, if you like, and just to give a bad account of himself. And
Yeah,
I hope it's
I'll
not.
tell you
I
where
hope it's,
I'll tell you where I went. So I started thinking, well, Itama has been technically the distance a couple of times, and I've
yeah,
watched I watched one of those fights. I haven't watched it recently, but I watched it as it happened. Um, and basically, the guy was fighting. There's a bit of a lump and just shelled up all the time. And
Yeah,
Itauma struggled to know what to do to really get him out of there. He was winning every second of every round. And then I started thinking, well, Whyte's fought some pretty good fighters. He's been
yeah,
in there with some pretty good fighters. He doesn't tend to lay down. He's always throwing punches. He's had a couple of stinkers along the way, but he tends to give a decent showing of himself.
yeah. He does.
Um, he's been in with some big punches. He's taken some big shots. He'll he'll try and throw. And I started thinking, is this a horrible banana skin? And have they rushed Itama? Because I know loads of people go on about Queensberry being really good matchmakers, right?
Costa's written that, and as recently as that. Yeah,
Everyone always says it, and I just look at Daniel Dubois' career and think, I think that reputation's under a little bit of strain at the moment.
yeah, yeah.
Um, they stuck him in with Big Joe Joyce, it didn't pan out. They stuck him in with Usyk way too early. Obviously, he hasn't won a title, but he didn't win a title. He was sort of handed a title after a fight, and then they stuck him in with Usyk again, and he got torn to pieces in that fight, torn to pieces. In fact, he's still in bloody hiding.
I hadn't seen him. Yeah, I haven't seen it. Yeah,
So I just thought, is this a horrible banana skin, and is it too big of a step? Because it is a big step. I mean, what we're going to say, Marius Wack is probably the best fighter that Itama's fought. Marius
yeah.
Wack or
Or
Dempsey McKean, one of the two.
Dixon Jr. maybe.
Um,
Um,
and I
I think
started,
Dempsey McKean. Sorry, got no. Go on, sorry.
so I started thinking, I could see, you know what? I wouldn't be massively surprised if White knocked him out. I wouldn't be massive because nobody knows what his chin's like.
Well,
Um,
this is it. This is it, isn't it? And this is why it's a test because and why it's really intriguing. Dave Allen's been quite vocal on it.
I
And
haven't, you
Dave,
know what? I haven't seen a lot of Dave Allen, who we'll talk about Dave Allen's fight in a bit as well, because that's quite an interesting one.
yes, yeah,
And we're thinking about going, aren't we? So that will be
yes,
quite good. Um, so I got there and I'm like, you know what? I like when we make our predictions, I try and pick the underdog. Right?
yeah, yeah.
If I think the underdog's in with a shout, I'll go for the underdog. And I started thinking, you know what? When we get to the podcast, I'm gonna pick White. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go with White. And
I'm going to wear
then
glasses to give it some more
yeah,
credibility as
yeah,
well.
exactly. Make people really believe these will be
I
gone
think,
next
oh,
week. These will be gone next week.
yeah,
And then I started thinking, oh no, but Dillian Whyte is a plodder. The guy cannot move. His style is messy. He punches wildly. His head's going to be exposed. He gets knocked out by uppercuts for fun.
mm,
Itama throws a great uppercut.
yeah.
And I'm back. I'm not even one of these people because all the press are now like, no, 5, 6 rounds. Maybe I'll get to 8, something like that. Either be out in 2, might even be out in the first round. I just don't think he can move enough.
Yeah. I wouldn't. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets him out of there in the first round. I
Yeah, I
don't
think
think he will. I wouldn't. I wouldn't be surprised. What I would be surprised with is if it goes well. Certainly, if it goes distance, but if it goes into the second half of the fight, because I think Dillian Whyte will just. You remember when Chisora fought Usyk, uh, and he was, I'm just going to hit him everywhere. I'm going to put it on him because he doesn't know what it's like to be with a heavyweight.
yeah.
I don't think Itoma's really had anyone put it on him, and I think that
I don't think he's quick enough to do it though. That's the
I
problem.
no no I agree, but I think that's got to be his attempt is just to try and he's going to have to come out quickish, and I think he's going to have to try and put it on him, try and take the
Uh,
centre of the ring. I don't know whether he's good enough to, but is he good enough? Has he got the resilience still to just sort of tuck up and try and like almost like rope a dope and see it?
I think that's his best. I think that's the best approach. I think
Maybe.
just shell up until round at least round 6. Take him as far as he can
Yeah,
before you start swinging. I don't and
maybe.
maybe
That'd be
lull him.
interesting.
Try
I've
and
quite
lull
like to,
him into some
yeah.
kind of false sense of what his punches are like. Don't reveal his punch power or something like that. Because if White does land something and it doesn't have an effect on Itama, it's sort of all over from there on in.
Do you know what? Actually, that's a good point. The way we say there, the opportunity to well, not opportunity, the option to just shell up and just take away else. Because I put it in my notes. One of those was even if White is shit, it's still going to be hard. So it's like, and when he has been knocked down, the Fury one I still think was a bit weird, and he claims it was emotional there. But the Povetkin one was nasty, wasn't it? And Povetkin, God knows what he was juiced on, and the AJ one was as well. So he's not easy to get out of there. He is a hard man, and
Yeah, it's not usually
he won't
early.
give
It's
up.
it's
He
not
won't
usually
give up.
early as well. He doesn't usually get caught early.
No,
So,
exactly. He's going to make
AJ
some money.
did AJ caught him early, but couldn't get him out of there.
Yeah,
Well, that is going back a while. I mean, I think that the other thing I've been thinking about is when fighters come in and they're just cleaning everyone out, there's always a point where that stops happening. You
yeah, of
know,
course. Yeah,
it did happen with AJ eventually.
yeah.
They meet an opponent where you just can't get away with that. Even that Balanga guy, what was his record of knocking everyone out? And then, it was ridiculous, wasn't it? It was like 16 in a row or something like that.
Oh, yeah, 16 in the first round.
Something ridiculous like that. But then they step in with an opponent and that one makes them look not so good at all.
Yes. Yeah,
There's
correct.
always, like as good as you think Itauma is, there's always somebody. He can't possibly be three times as good as Usyk, can he? Like he can't be that guy.
No, no,
Nobody's like that.
no. I think that's a fight that would never happen because I think by the time that I think that just for the trajectory, I think by the time Atone was ready to and actually ready to, Usyk will be like, no,
I
I don't
don't.
need.
Do you not think they might get Itauma out? I think Itauma will clean out White quickly.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think it'll be a log fight, which means he'll be able to come out again pretty soon. So I then think Itauma will go out again certainly this year.
But this is when it gets interesting because where do you go then? If we were struggling to place Itoma after we beat Balogun, right? If he beats White, then what's next? Is it the winner of is it Hogan
Hergovich, Joyce. I mean Joyce,
Wardley?
maybe Joyce is a step backwards. Wardley, yeah, but Wardley's not going to take that fight because Wardley's first in line for a belt, isn't he? Really, so no point
But
in
this
taking
is
that
the
fight.
thing as well, because they're all with Frank as well, aren't they?
Yeah, he's going to
Even
have to sell someone out.
even Chisora's
He'll put the big Chinaman in there.
the biggest Chinaman in
Although
existence.
that's a dodgy one as well because he literally sends everybody to the canvas. So, it doesn't matter.
Well,
You probably wouldn't do that to Itama just in case.
hmm. He's going to be even harder to place after this if he does what we expect. I guess he's got to hope that there's a vacation of a belt because
But
there
he
hasn't been.
won't. I mean, he won't be in line for a vacation. He can't be ranked number one if he beats White anywhere, can he?
He's I'm trying to think who he's below. I think he's quite highly ranked in the WBC. I think I was looking at maybe the IBF as well. So I don't know. And the IBF will be the one, but I don't know. The IBF will seem to be the one that gets vacated. I was looking at the mandatories, and I haven't actually made note of it, but I did notice on the WBC, Maurizio Suleiman hasn't found the need to make anyone mandatory yet. 'Cause I guess he's just waiting to see who can make the most money. And they'll be like, oh, that's the guy. That's the guy. Waiting for Tyson Fury,
Yeah,
basically.
it does seem like the two fighters that have got sort of don't really need to worry about the rankings are Tyson Fury and probably Moses Itauma because
Yeah.
Turkey Teeth wants him to fight Usyk.
Yeah. I don't think that fight would happen. I don't think he should do either.
I could see the timing. If you're Usyk, I just think just don't bother with it, man. Like it's just a pointless fight for you. It doesn't mean nothing. Like you could understand if Itama had cleaned out some really good fighters, but I mean he won't have even cleaned out a really good fighter after White.
Maybe who could he beat now? Well, I'll tell you what, could you put him in? This is exciting actually, so I'm just talking myself here. If he beats Dillian Whyte, would you put him in with like AJ? Could that fight ever happen?
I was thinking about that. I was
Oh,
thinking, is AJ the next step? The only thing is, AJ, what he's not going to take that fight, is he? Like, unless someone dangles like shitloads of money and he says, right, fuck it, yeah, I'll take that fight, and then that's my final fight. I'll make loads of money, I'll get knocked out, and then I'll be done.
yeah. It's like that's the final changing of the guard. Because if I'm just trying to think what Itoma needs to do.
Big Baby
'Cause
Miller, put him in with Big Baby Miller. The guy doesn't go down. He doesn't go
yeah,
down.
yeah, maybe,
Stick
yeah,
him in with
maybe.
someone that doesn't go down, because the problem with White is if he sparks him, I don't think it's that great of a win if Itauma beats White.
This is what I'm thinking ahead. Because I'm like, how good a victory could it be against Dillian Whyte for us to then say, right now he's ready for a world title fight? If the world title is Usyk,
It can't be the next one. There would have to be another
have
fighter.
to be.
But then of those fighters, who needs him? You've got Caballel doesn't need him because he's on the brink of, a title shot himself. Joseph Parker shouldn't need him because he's on the brink of a title fight. Tyson Fury is nothing in it for him. AJ is too risky. Zhang is on the back of a defeat anyway, so he needs somebody, you know, probably an easier fight. Although, to be honest, it's not going to sell either, is it? Zhang versus Itauma.
But
Um,
it might do if Atoma catches fire after this. You know, if,
yeah,
if,
it's
if
just, it's
he
just,
crosses over, if he crosses over after this, I don't know if he will. I don't know if White brings some of a name, but whether it's enough of a name, I don't know.
yeah, maybe. I mean, Justice Hooney, but then he doesn't want that fight. He needs to come back and win something.
No, no,
Wardley, it's just nobody sort of needs him, do they? Nobody's got a reason to fight him,
no.
other than somebody sort of willing to throw away their career or admit that they're at the end of their career and take a payday, which is what White's doing. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
I don't buy this.
It's Bacoli again, isn't it? That's where we're at.
Bakoli desperately needs a win. Um, like it's just nobody needs Moses Atama. Nobody needs him.
Well, let's see how convincing it is. But so we're completely dismissing Dillian White here, aren't we? But I think,
I am, yeah.
yeah,
I
he's
can, you know what? The way I see it going is Moses Atama shows a little bit of respect for the first 90 seconds of the first round. Um, I think he finds out what White's punching like, how quick he's punching, doesn't
yeah,
throw a lot for 90 seconds. And then I think after that 90 seconds, it's anything goes. And if White's throwing, he's getting hit.
yeah,
That
yeah.
that is, I can't see a way for White unless he is very, very smart, which I don't think he is. He's a fucking hothead as well, which isn't good. So, as soon as he gets smacked, he's going to come out swinging. Like he has, I don't think he's got the temperament for this fight at all.
No, no, it'll be interesting to see what he does.
What he needs to do is get on the juice and damn fast.
I think you're being unfair there to Dillian White because I think he's well ahead of you. I'm sure he has been on the juice. I don't think you need you and your glasses to suggest it. I think he would. I think he'd be well ahead of you on that. So yeah.
I've
Um,
just been. Have you been watching? Have you watched the face off between them?
the fight, would you mean like the head to head where they're talking or
Yeah, yeah,
actual?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah. I saw. So yeah, I saw. Yeah, I was watching some of it earlier actually.
I watched a little bit. It wasn't that exciting. You could see Dillian White. He's a bit pissed off that everyone's writing him off. But I kind of think
Yeah.
I kind of want Adi Oladipo to kind of go, look, mate, you have been pretty shit lately. Like
Well,
you don't get a free ride because 5 years ago you were decent.
yeah, but he's not going to say that because in the head to head, Dillian White's talking about how he's never been the darling of the press and he's always been avoided and that, and he calls him out. Was it Ollie Adedipo? Is that yeah?
The
Ollie
other way,
Adedipo.
Adi Oladipo.
Adi Oladipo, yeah, yeah. But so he calls him out and says, "Look, you always avoid me." And he's like, "Well, it's because I'm scared of
Oh,
you."
I saw that. Yeah.
And it's like, and you kind of like, yeah, you kind of from the comfort of our screen, just you can think what you want of Dillian Whyte, but I think he is quite an intimidating man, as is his brother, who's normally with him as well. So I think, yeah, if he's pissed off and he's talking about his temperament, like it's whether he can channel it in the right way. And like going back, that man, it's probably going back 6 years now, when Dillian Whyte was at the start of his 1,000 days of waiting for a world title fight. Can't remember who it was he beat. He had a really good victory, but then he was done producing, and he was close, and he'd almost become like gone that full redemptive arc from being the boogeyman of the bogeyman, what you want to call it, of AJ to becoming a bit of a cult hero. And I really liked him for quite a while. I don't dislike him now. I still, he's a good character and he's interesting, but yeah, it's just whether he can channel his badness in the right way.
Yeah,
And
I do. It's
whether
just
it's that Indian summer.
it's quite funny how. I mean, he was saying in that headset that you're all calling me an old man. You need to walk me across the road and stuff. And you think, well, Usyk were getting it. He was getting it out of the Dubois fight. He was getting the same shit. Is he too old? Is he gonna age overnight and stuff? It's tough shit. Is Dillian? You've got to do it in the ring. Like you've got to
Yeah,
do it in the ring. Like you are looking like an old man. You have been looking like an
yeah.
old man.
Your last few outings haven't been great. So
The big sort of thing when Usyk, they were going, well, has Usyk aged overnight? And everyone's like, well, there's been no signs of it. The issue with Dillian Whyte is there's been plenty of signs that he's
yeah, yeah, exactly that. Actually, yeah, it's not like he's coming into this in good form.
no.
He's coming into it with a name. He's bringing a name, isn't he? He's bringing a name, and
It's a bit of a shame that Jermaine Franklin didn't go on really to fight anyone else sort of any name after he fought White and Joshua.
yeah,
Because he
yeah,
just seems to have crawled back under a bit of a rock and he's fighting absolute bombs ever since. Because he felt
yeah,
like there's a decent fighter, probably not got the punch power, but he's got quite fast hands, and he could have
yeah.
been a
Resilient. Yeah,
good benchmark for a lot of fighters. If White can't get him out of there and Joshua can't get him out of there, that's a decent standard.
yeah, yeah. Well, maybe he could be next up if we take it as read for who's the other American now? What's his name? Cooper? Is that his name? What's
So you got
the
Michael Hunter.
Michael Hunter? Michael. Who the hell's Michael
Michael
Hunter?
Hunter's in a bit of a he's in a bit of a freeze with Don King, isn't he? Because Don King's got I think he won the purse bid for Hunter Kubrat Pulev, but now he doesn't want that to go ahead. Um,
Right.
yes, it seems a bit all over the shop, does that?
Okay. Yeah. Every time you mention Don King, I've always forgotten that he's still one alive and two active. So,
Yeah.
but you know what? That's one of the longest careers ever. Must be boxing promoters. I think you've still got Bob Arum still going, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you want to prolong your life and
Yeah, be a boxing.
live a
I mean,
long life.
he famously gave Sugar Ray Robinson his first break. So yeah, yeah. But okay, well, I guess
Go on,
that's
so go on, give us your prediction then, because I've gone pretty hard. I think round two, Moses Itauma, very
I'll go for.
horrible knockout, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't think it necessarily needs to be an uppercut. Doesn't need to be. I think it doesn't really matter.
I'm going to go for round four. Um, Dillian Whyte knock. No, Moses Itauma round four.
And the bookies seem to be with us because the odds are very heavily in Itauma's favour.
Yeah, 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 yeah. No, I can't see anything else.
Okay, so should we move on to some of the fights on the undercard?
Yes, yeah.
Um,
There's two that I'm most interested in,
so is that
which is
one of them presumably is going to be Nick Ball?
yeah, very interested.
Okay.
Very interested. I mean, he's one of those who sort of snuck up on me a bit. You see him on undercards and you catch him, and he's never really in dull fights. And I saw this comparison to a mini Mike Tyson. Have you seen that? And have you heard people
No, I've
talking
not.
about?
I haven't heard anyone say that.
Yeah, yeah, being referred to as a mini Mike Tyson, which I can see is his style, the way he kind of like I can't. So I can't do it, but kind of his dimensions and the way he throws punches from low down and he's sort of ducking and weaving. Do you mean he's brutal, isn't he? He's relentless. He likes to cut off the ring, and I've as sort of due diligence, I've been looking into Goodman, and he looks like quite a slick operator. So he should be quite an interesting fight. A clash of styles. I won't say it, but I won't say what you don't want to hear. But it should be yeah, a good mix of styles to make for a good fight, definitely. I don't know whether Goodman has the pedigree to cope with Nick Ball. I don't think he's ever fought. It's his first title fight, I believe. I think he was meant to have a couple of fights with Inoue, but they both fell through. And
Yeah,
so
I don't know a huge amount about Sam Goodman. I don't know who his
yeah,
best win is.
no, well, I think he's yeah. I'm not sure on that, and I don't think he's ever fought abroad either. So it's his first time on the world stage. Could mean something, could mean nothing. Um, but yeah, first title fight as well. Whereas Nick Ball's relatively seasoned now, isn't he? I think he's just so exciting to watch, isn't he? And the narrative I'm hearing is that the idea is you then get a fight against Inoue, is what I believe it's leading to, which Goodman would obviously want if he's had two fights fall out of bed with him already. But from what I've seen of Nick Ball and Inoue, that would be a fantastic fight, not to kind of look beyond this one. Um, but yeah, very excited to see him in action. Is that like is this second on the bill, or is
I
that
think it
like
is. I think that's the second fight. I don't know actually. Ray Ford's
the
fight
second
was,
down? I mean, like kind of
yeah.
yeah,
I think it's probably a bit of a toss up between that and Raymond Ford because
yeah.
he's quite a good fighter. But I don't massively enjoy watching Nick Paul fight. Um,
No,
no, I just find him a little bit erratic and a little bit.
I
Um,
like that.
it's not very stylish.
No, no.
I really like sort of stylish, accurate fighters who pick their punches in and out. And Nick Ball is just wherever you are, he's
Yeah,
there.
there, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, do you know what? I saw one. I was looking at some of his fights, and this was an early fight. I can't remember the name of the guy he's fighting against, but he has him in the corner, and the bloke's sort of like hunched down, and he's facing away from him, and he waits for him just to look up, and then he just sort of. So he almost like the bloke almost sort of turns around. He's sort of like just it's a hilarious knockout. It's like, oh, I'm not sure that's all right. He's like waits for him to turn around and does him. But no, I do like his rap. But what you've described there is what I've heard of and what I've seen from Sam Goodman. He is stylish. He will, he'll pick his punches. He's not going to throw like 700 punches in a fight. Which Nick Ball will do. So yeah, I think a clash of styles. Be interesting to see which one wins
Yeah,
out.
I think you need to be very good to beat Nick Ball because he does what he does very well. I will say I don't particularly
Yeah,
enjoy watching it, but he is good at it. He's good at sort of navigating the height difference that he usually has. I mean, I don't know what the height difference. I don't know how tall Goodman is, but
no, not quite.
Nick
I think
Ball.
that's where maybe the Tyson things come from because he has to throw from low down, and he does. Yeah, he's got an absolute engine on him, hasn't he?
Yeah, he
So
has. Yeah, yeah. He just does. He doesn't stop. He's always there. Like fair play. It does work. I think for someone to beat Nick Ball, they have to be very very good and able to deal with that pressure because he seems to be able to put it on for a long time. I
yeah,
actually thought when he fought Ray Ford, I actually thought Ray Ford maybe snuck that fight, and I thought he was doing the sort of classier work and picking him off quite well. But it just kind of ran away from him a little bit. But I thought he was doing very well in the early rounds.
do you know what? I was thinking of when you were describing him then that he's so busy, and whether if he comes up against a better operator, he gets figured out. He's got me thinking. Do you remember when there was a whole rivalry between Scott Quigg and Cole Frampton?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Quigg was busy, wasn't he? And like, in your face and all that. And then when he came up against Frampton, he had nothing really, did he? So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
whether Goodman's that guy. Anue might, well, Anue would be, but
Someone needs to give him something to keep him off. Somebody needs to, they need to hit him hard, and enough to keep him off. But he doesn't seem to be bothered by that much either.
well, no, he just keeps going. Almost Mexican, isn't he? He just keeps on going forward and forward and forward.
He's he seems a bit quicker. He's sort of quick to get there. Mexicans just sort of plod into you no matter what.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Mexican in fast forward.
yeah, yeah, he's like that. And then I'm going to assume the other big fight or the other fight on the undercard that you're interested in is David Adelaide
Yeah,
versus Hrgovic.
yeah. I feel weird about Adelaide. I think we will have spoken about him before, and that I don't really like him. The Jamie TKV we've spoken about before was just didn't really sit well as a victory, and it felt harsh on TKV. Also harsh at, well, say harsh. He's not got the Dave Allen fight, which I thought would have been good, but also he was just a dick with Fabio Wardley, wasn't he? He was a
Yeah.
real. He very much played the aggressor in that rivalry. Jumped him in a foyer somewhere and just I don't know. But it feels like a free hit for him. If he beats Hrgovic, it completely changes his career trajectory.
It's a big if.
What's the big? Yeah. But
It's a very,
that's why he's taking it.
it's a very weird fight because I don't know who gets much out of this fight.
Well, Adelaide if he wins it,
Adelaide,
Hrgovic.
Adelaide, yeah, he does stand to get a lot if he wins it, but I mean, I don't think Wardley's he's not a great boxer.
No,
Um,
no,
Hrgovic is a bit of a plodder, but seems quite accurate.
he's technical, isn't he?
He sort of is. I mean, I rewatched the Daniel Dubois fight, Hrgovic Dubois,
yeah,
and it's just literally 1-2 every 5 seconds.
yeah,
One,
yeah,
two, 1-2, 1-2. I'm like, it's working, and I can see why he keeps doing it, but let's throw a
yeah.
few different punches, maybe.
Yeah, when I say technical, I'm not meaning technical as in a Lomachenko, he's technically, elite. No, he's technical as in it's methodical. He knows what he's doing. Picks his
Yeah.
punches rather than, well, a Dillian Whyte or a Nick Bull who's going to just kind of have a flurry. He's very considered with his work, which you'd expect. While I'm, not, I'm I don't expect it to be a particularly good fight now as we're talking about it. And, even that's what I'm looking forward to. But it's because of the names, You got to be going, oh, okay. Um, you give Adelaide a puncher's chance, but Hrgovic could just stink the place out and
Seems to
just
take a decent shot, doesn't he? I
yeah,
mean, Dubois got stopped on cuts. He was taking some shots. Took a lot
yeah,
of decent sized shots. Hasn't got a great defense, from what I've seen. Gets hit. So Adelaide, could he clean him out? He just doesn't. There's nothing on his CV to make me think he can trouble him.
well, yeah. When you look at Adelaide, who he's been in with, when Fabio Wardley's as high as he's gone, really, and he got found out. Which again, when you look at the Fabio Wardley Justice Hooney fight, diminishes Adelaide more, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And then, I mean, the other thing is, I don't know when this happened, but Philip Ergovic's coach is Abel Sanchez now, isn't it?
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, so I don't think that hasn't been the case for a lot, that's not been for most of his career. So I think one of the things with Ergovic is he sort of seems to just switch off when it's not going his way, and
Yeah, yeah.
um, I
That's
know
right.
he did beat Joyce, didn't he? But like, it wasn't that convincing a victory over Joe Joyce, who looks sort of
No,
shot to pieces. Maybe Adelaide, maybe he's looking at him thinking he's there for the taking. This guy, he's cracked now.
yeah,
He's lost his sort of boogeyman handle. Hasn't really
yeah.
managed to come back from it. And he's right for the taking.
Who's Who's Adelaide's coach now?
Oh, I don't know who Adelaide's coach is.
I heard him talking. I feel like I knew who he was. But,
Is it Adam Booth?
I don't know. But basically saying there's nothing to lose here. If you
Yeah.
can beat Roglic, you're suddenly, this
I
is
suppose,
my
I
thing.
suppose, I suppose there's not. If he's hovering sort of British level and he goes in with Ergovic and gets beat, he just drops straight back down to that British level and he's back in the mix again.
Nothing to lose. Jamie TKV's going nowhere.
We just had a small break in recording, and I actually thought, can I see a way for Adelaide to win this fight? Should I? Should I pick him? If I'd seen more of a chink in Hergovic's chin, I would go for it, but I just haven't seen it.
No, I having been one of the fights on the undercard as I say, but I'm excited about. It's not actually that exciting. I think
It could be an absolute stinker, this fight.
it could be a stinker. It could be a stinker. Yeah, hopefully not. It's on Adelaide to make sure it's not. Hergovic, I feel like, could fight this fight however he wants to. Uh,
Yeah.
but Adelaide's got to try and not let him have it all his own way. So if you're Hergovic, you blow Adelaide out of there. It's you know respectfully, it's David Adelaide. So you do yourself no favours. You just need to get the win. You just keep ticking over and keep yourself bubbling away and bubbling in contention. In contention. So I think he just as you say, he'll get behind the 1-2s and he'll just nick the majority of the rounds. That's what I expect it to be. Pergovic points.
He doesn't really need to do much more than that, does he?
No, yes, yeah, exactly. It's not saying it's the wrong thing. Well, I think it's the right thing to do. Um, but yeah, it'll be boring.
Okay. Are we going to leave the undercard there and
I
talk
think
about
so. I haven't
this?
really got much else on the others. I'm intrigued, but I don't really have strong opinions on any of the fighters who are in there really. To be honest.
Well, what are your thoughts then on this being a pay-per-view?
Yeah, it's not, is it? It shouldn't be. It
You
shouldn't.
got, I mean, it's not a bad card, but
It's not a bad card,
it's
but
not it's not usual Saudi standards. And yeah,
well, there's a lot of talk about
it doesn't hold up against other pay-per-views, does it?
no. There's a lot no. Well, no, the sad thing is, it kind of does now, doesn't it?
It holds up. I guess I mean,
It
I was gonna
shouldn't.
say, I was gonna
It,
say it holds up on the Usyk Dubois card because that was a poor card, but he still did have that
yeah,
was sold on one fight. Everybody knows
yeah, of
that was
course,
sold on
yeah,
one fight.
yeah. But I
Um,
don't think this is. There's intriguing fights on there, as we're saying, but I mean, I'd expect, yeah, Nick Paul,
it,
Sam Goodman to be the fight of the night. That you know, and then you've got a prospect against a has been,
yeah,
if
yeah, yeah.
as the main event with an amuse bouche of Adelaide versus Turkey. So it's not, it's not the best. It's not the best. But
I mean, Ray Ford's a good fighter to watch. He is a good fighter to
it is,
watch.
yeah.
Yeah,
But I can't
it's
imagine it's going to do great numbers. Like,
I cannot see how this does go because I won't pay for this fight. Let's
no, of
just
course
leave
not.
it there. I will not pay for this fight.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I'll watch it. I'll watch it. Let's just leave it there, but I won't pay for it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, there's been a lot of talk, hasn't there? Which will lead us into the box of it, I think. But a lot of talk from His Excellency about wanting to be done with pay-per-view.
I just don't see how that holds up. How does that
Well,
hold up?
is it just him taking the slack for world? Like, as in, like, I'll pay the difference? Do you know what I
But
mean?
that doesn't seem to be happening now, though, does it? Like
Well, no,
it's
exactly.
almost the opposite of that is happening.
Well, yeah, that's why I mentioned because it's like if he's saying that, and then in the same breath he's putting this on, that don't really track for me. Because this definitely, shouldn't be. I mean,
You can kind of understand somebody going, I tell you what, I'm absolutely minted, right? I'm going to take up the slack on, where we don't necessarily sell tickets. But I tell you what, I'm going to put a monster card on, and we might sell quite a lot of these. You know, there's a difference between that and going, well, I'll put a mediocre card on.
Yeah,
Uh, I don't, yeah, I'd be surprised if it sells that well. Particularly because globally, I don't know what White's name is like in America. I don't know.
can't imagine as much. I mean, yeah, global appeal isn't. I mean, I don't know what the Croatian market's like for pay-per-views. Which could do it. Aussies, I don't think, they're not going to go in on Sam Goodman.
Yeah, and also like the Americans are not gonna, it's if it's Saudi time, it's not going to be a good time for them to watch a fight or anything like that as well. So
But yeah, it seems weird that the kid is saying that we'll be done with pay-per-views, and then he puts this on as a pay-per-view. Doesn't really make sense.
to me, what seems to be happening is the regular cards are winding down. This seems quite obvious now. The gaps between them are getting bigger. The quality of the cards is going down. This it feels like it's a move towards what's his other thing called that he's supposed to be setting up with Dana White.
Dana White, I can't remember.
Um,
I don't. Yeah, sorry, go on.
is this pulling away because they're working on that in the background? That's where there's not going to be any pay-per-views. I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, okay. In his new world. Yeah, yeah, potentially,
But
potentially.
then I don't see how that works because the Americans are paying an absolute ton on their pay-per-views. They spend a fortune on a cost of
Maybe we'll
bond,
just
don't they?
go for get into the economics of it, whether they'll pay a lower monthly fee, um, and then no pay-per-views on that, which is what the zone was always meant to be. I remember. Yeah,
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
but then yeah, here we are. But do you know what? Maybe this leads us on to the boxer thing then.
Yeah.
Um,
So, what were your thoughts when? I mean, it was obviously quite heavily rumored that Boxer might go to iPlayer.
Well, do you know what? I'd missed the rumours, and when you messaged me, whenever it was a week or so ago, about it going to Wi-Fi, I was like, "All right, just interesting," because that suddenly it's like, well, it's on the iPlayer and it's freely available.
Highly accessible,
Yeah,
which is
highly accessible. But also, have you heard the Ben Shalom this week talking about it? It'll be on there'll be loads of fights on iPlayer, the same, but then they're going to have for the bigger fights, which I think just must mean Ben Whittaker at this stage, um, is will be on that the 2 hour slot before match of the day on a Saturday night on BBC One. So if you're getting that slot, that's massive, and suddenly Boxer becomes box. I heard Boxer described, and I think it's good shout actually, almost like an incubator. For boxers, as a promoter as well. So it's kind of a feeder to Matchroom, Queensbury, whoever. Um, but if boxing's hot at the moment, right? There's,
mm.
there's a lot of eyes on it. If you can get, and if he's still got a stake in Eubank Jr., could you get? Surely you couldn't get. No, you wouldn't get Eubank Benn too on
I
BBC.
presume that's contractually done.
Yeah,
Sky have got that
that
sealed up.
that wouldn't be. But maybe you could have some fighters on the undercard there. Maybe there'd be some free to air stuff. I don't know as part of that.
I
I think it's
I
quite
just
exciting.
I
Saturday
just
night.
don't get how it works financially
No. Well,
because BBC obviously is funded by the public who, they have to be fairly transparent with their pricing.
yeah.
There's always a bit of an uproar when they're paying the likes of Gary Lineker and Alan
But they're
Shearer,
not.
like
They're not now.
massive.
So maybe that money's.
Yeah, Gary Lineker's salary is the
So it's
covering
not
the
going, it's not
boxing.
going to Mark Chapman, or at least I hope it's not.
But, boxing is very, very expensive at the top.
Yeah.
I don't see how this couldn't be anything but almost like lower league football kind of thing.
Yeah.
The likes of Ben Whittaker might as well go, in my opinion, might as well go now or as soon as they can, earliest convenience, because boxer now is great, brilliant that boxing is on free to air. That's
Yeah.
brilliant. I'm all about that, but I just don't see how it can be high level
Do,
boxing.
do you think this is the uh, more of a competitor to Channel 5.
Yeah, I can't see how
Yeah.
it isn't, like Channel 5.
Wasserman or whatever the promoters, yeah.
I just can't see how it's anything but I just don't know how the financials would work. Like I don't know how you pay the fighters.
It'll
Like
be a bit like in the 90s when you had on ITV, you'd have WCW wrestling, and then your rich kids would have Sky and they'd have WWF. And I was a fan
yeah,
of the
yeah.
wrestler Sting and the Steiner brothers or whatever they were good. They were my bushwhackers and my Hulk Hogan. Sure, I had the figures, but I didn't have the Sky. So maybe maybe that's what the role that plays, and the gateway drug.
I just cannot see how it is any other way, particularly because Ben Shalom hasn't got a great record of putting on great cards. So I don't know how else, like the events would sell well enough to cover the fees for the fighters.
Yeah, but yeah. Again, he's got a stake in Eubank Jr. Benn.
I can't understand why DAZN didn't just take him on. I don't get it.
I I can understand why he wouldn't go there. It's
Why?
because Eddie Hearn and
But he's done quite a bit with Eddie Hearn, hasn't he? He's done a fair bit with
well,
Eddie
he
Hearn.
has, but basically his role is there to be
Whipping boy.
belittled and bullied by him, and I think he wants to step out on his own right. It was when Frank Warren was coming through as Mickey Duff or whoever, who he had to step out of his shadow of and had to find his own way, and even Barry Hearn then going to Sky while Frank Warren had ITV and all that. So I feel like this is his step. Let's see, let's see. What year are we in? 2025. I think when the next Olympics will be, the next breakthroughs will be whether
Hmm.
it's, whether that'll be the way. You get the Olympic stars who have a bit more exposure.
Could be. And that would be, I suppose it'd be quite, it is just a bit of a come down, isn't it? And the kind of fighters that Boxer have got right now,
Yeah.
they have got some decent fighters.
The other question is then, well, because do you know what as well? It's got Boxer have Caroline Dubois. Dubois counts as the most charismatic of the Dubois, doesn't it? Um, but also, I don't know what their female stable's like, and female sports is quite, again, it's quite hot.
I
I don't
suppose that could be quite
know
good because
that could
obviously
be
the
or,
Saudis the Saudis ain't too hot on the female boxing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's it. That's it. It's.
I can't really get my head around why, but
No, no, no. Yeah,
it's
yeah.
very unlike them.
It's very unlike them. Yeah, things I'm thinking, but I can't say. Yeah, but there we go. Um, yeah, I think it's an interesting move. I think if they have the odd, maybe one or two good fights a year in that Saturday slot would be enough, wouldn't it? Like as in for
Maybe, maybe,
exposure, you'd be
maybe if they can bring some talent through, I think it's good. I just don't see how Ben Whitaker. Have they got Chris Billum Smith, Martin Bacoli? Is Bacoli with Boxer? Uh,
you know.
I just can't
Yeah,
see
yeah,
that caliber of boxer fighting on a
yeah.
iPlayer.
If you have like we go back maybe a few years, a Nick Ball a few years ago, who maybe doesn't have the pedigree and the high ceiling of a Ben Whitaker, but someone who's going to be in a terror. Yeah, do you know what? Might get a Dave Allen, someone like Dave Allen who's got appeal, but not necessarily the high ceiling and the commercial demand that you'd get from a more skillful boxer. So maybe this could be maybe the iPlayer or BBC could be the home of my domestic heavyweight league. I want to see.
Yeah, it could be, could be. Okay, we've done a bit of time on that. Do you want to move on to other news?
Yeah, what I mean, Eubank Benn's been made again on.
U-boat Ben's been made. It's sort of really difficult to get excited about that until they start taking it on the road a little bit, I think.
Yeah,
And even then, I mean, maybe I'm speaking way too early because I might sort of eat my own hat on this, but like, I don't know what they have to do. It feels like that everything was left on the table, and I'm not just meaning in the fight, pre-fight, they did everything. Like,
and everything.
what Ben's lost all his argument against Eubank. I suppose he'll say that I nearly beat you, although I don't think that's true. Um, he'll say you couldn't knock me out. Eubank can't really go in on the drug thing anymore because he's sort of exhausted that. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just a money fight, isn't it? Everybody knows it's just a money fight.
It is, and look, you can't top the egg. You can't top Senior emerging from the lift, and
Yeah.
I don't think you can top the blood and guts of the fight.
Well,
Uh,
on that, actually, what I wanted to say on that is I think in time, people go back to that fight and sort of go, actually, it wasn't that good of a fight.
Really, yeah.
Because it wasn't. It was, it's sort of,
I
it
haven't
was,
rewatched it. I haven't rewatched it.
it's all about the moment and,
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was
you
a emotional
know,
fight, wasn't it?
yeah, emotion, moment, hype. But if you want to go back and watch a fight, you kind of need all that preamble to sort of really experience that one properly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, and if you just were cold watching that fight, it's really not that great of a fight at all to watch.
Yeah, right. It was the thought. It was everything, wasn't it? But went with it, and I don't see how they can do that. I just don't know why Eubank's taken the fight. He doesn't. Why does he need it? Like for he doesn't need the money. He doesn't need the risk. The risk from a health perspective, or the risk from a reputation perspective.
The only thing I can think is it's quite difficult to get out of the contract. It was always signed with a rematch in it.
I guess so. Yeah,
Um,
I guess you'd have to properly be seen to duck it. So maybe it's see that, but if you'd have to seek legal advice to avoid fighting him, then that's not for him
yeah.
not a good look. While I'd fully get it.
I
So
think he could have sold it though. I think he could have easily come out and said, look, I'll give him an opportunity.
yeah,
He stepped up weights. It didn't work out. It wasn't close. We don't need to do this again. The same thing's going to happen. This is utterly pointless. Everyone knows it went down that way. And you know what? It doesn't take a genius to read sort of all the post-fight stuff. That is the attitude of almost everybody. Like it was,
yeah. But there's been a bit of reimagining of history, though. I heard just today someone saying, I can't remember what it was, someone's watching on YouTube about how, oh yeah, I was watching it thinking Ben's got this, and every time he hit Eubank, he looked in trouble. And I'm like, it's not really how I remember it. It was like, it was, there was flurries of punches, but I didn't, Eubank looked as tired from from the weight and his own exertion rather than the punishment he'd taken from Ben.
yeah.
I think it was a combination of all of those things. Not to say he didn't feel the punches from Ben, but I don't. If you look at it cold, I don't. Yeah, that it was so close. I think Eubank had it. It's just whether again whether 6 months on or whatever it'll be. I don't know what the weight's going to be. I don't know what the rehydration clause is going to be.
So supposedly the contract was entirely the same. Like it was the same for everything. There's no. I mean, it's Eddie Hearn saying this, but the contract was identical.
Okay, well we'll see then, won't we?
Um, so then the other news is Dave Allen signed to fight Arslanvad Makhmudov,
Yeah,
which um, it's a weird fight, if I'm honest.
yeah, yeah. Fight as you were saying earlier, we might go and watch together. So, um, but yeah, not a name when we were looking at who Dave Allen fights next. We did not bring that one up.
Yeah, so a weird. So I got interested in Makhmudov just before he fought Kabayel.
Yeah,
There wasn't a lot of footage of his fights around. There was bits and bats and stuff like that. And I watched him in that fight sort of start quite aggressively. He's big. He's absolutely huge.
yeah,
I thought he was going to clean Caballel out. Didn't know an awful lot about Caballel, and then he was inaccurate, poor movement, and he got absolutely torn to pieces, brought down with body shots. He looked like he was in a world of pain in there.
yeah.
Um, and that's happened again since.
Who's it he fought? Who was his last fight against? Yeah,
So,
well,
so
not last fight, but yeah.
he won his last, didn't he? I think. Who did he get beat by the second time? I can't remember now. Let's have a look. Oh, Vianello. So Vianello stopped him. Another technical knockout. It's just it's a weird fight. I think it's quite high risk because from what I've seen of Makhmudov, he does throw hard punches.
Yeah,
He's far more active than Dave Allen is, and it took a lot for Caballel to beat him on his work rate to sort of bring
yeah,
him down, and Caballel relatively comfortable with a more of a work rate. I don't know if Dave Allen's got the work rate to be able to keep him off.
yeah. But Dave Allen's quite. It just seems a weird fight for Dave Allen to touch. 3 weeks ago we were talking about Deontay Wilder. AJ got mentioned. Joseph Parker got mentioned. These names, and then for it to go to this, you're like, what's happened? And it's
Uh,
like,
from
and all,
what I
he
know,
wants a British title. It's like with this, you're not going to get a British title from this guy. It's like, go fight Jamie TKV. Do that, please. That's like, I don't know.
from what I know, Eddie Hearn said to Dave Allen, "You need one more good win before you're going to get anything of any note. So you need to go out and beat somebody
All right.
decent, and then we'll start talking about a serious fight for you." And Dave Allen says he only wants to fight fighters that he's a bit scared of,
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
which seems mad for a guy that is a
Yeah.
self-proclaimed quitter.
Yeah, that's interesting though, isn't it? Because I heard him again talking in the build up to White and Itauma, talking about when he fought Dillian Whyte and said, "Yeah, I was going in there thinking, oh, I've taught myself into a problem here. I'm scared." And he looked at it in that fight. Um, yeah, interesting, interesting.
So it's a weird fight. I think this might be a bridge too far for Alan. I just don't think he's got the output to keep Makhmudov off. He is a good puncher, but I think you need a lot of punches to put him down.
Yeah,
So my early thoughts are that
October, isn't it? October.
yeah, my early thoughts are that Makhmudov might just win this one,
Yeah,
which is a shame. It just seems a shame. It seems such a shame to have this fight. It just seems like the wrong fight for Dave Allen to
yeah.
take. Like there's not. It also beating Makhmudov is nothing to nobody anymore.
Well, exactly.
There's
That's
nothing.
that's the thing. That's why it's like it's a classic who needs them fight, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But well,
Um,
apparently Dave Allen needs it to get I do, to go
yeah,
on.
seemingly, but I don't know if he did need another fight. I felt like
Well,
I'd imagine Dave Allen is a bit of a ticket seller. I think he does all right actually.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I feel like they could have stuck
I
him in with
mean,
somebody.
we're not talking about going to watch this big Russian lad, are we? That's not why we're going. So,
No, 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 we're not. Yeah, we're going to cheer on.
yeah,
Well, the plan is to go and cheer on Dave Allen. Having not been to a big boxing fight, I don't know this, but I presume you can barely see shit all when you're there.
yeah.
Is that?
It's not gonna be great. Moody atmosphere in Yorkshire. It's gonna be great.
Um, then the only other things that I can think of are this talk of Jake Paul, AJ, which doesn't
Boring,
seem to have moved on.
boring.
Yeah, yeah.
No.
And then Daniel Dubois in hiding is it's annoying me a bit. It is annoying me a little bit that he's just completely ducking everything. Um,
Mm,
hasn't had to answer to any of the shit he was talking before the fight. He hasn't had to answer for a very poor performance. He's not had to talk about did he quit? Everyone else is having to do that for him.
yeah,
Uh, you know, he's a grown. He's got a grown man's body. Let's say that. He's got a grown man's body. He's a man. Like what
yeah,
is going on here?
yeah. I don't know. It'd be interesting to know in the fullness of time what the fallout's been behind closed doors, because there was a lot of talk from the Warrens about he's got questions to answer. I felt like they sort of didn't really back their man after.
It's quite funny when Warren says he didn't quit and then also comes out with the line, he's got questions to answer and
Yeah,
he needs to learn from this. And it's like
yeah.
the
What?
only thing he needs to learn is not to freaking go down so easily.
Hmm, yeah. Well, I'll give him I'll give anyone the benefit of the doubt against Usyk. I think, yeah, I think, yeah. Again, we covered it, but I think more to Usyk than the War. But it should be interesting to see what he does next. I think Warren has to start throwing in some of his men together. 'Cause he's got
He's got to like I mean, the heavyweight, let's just talk, if you've got a little bit more time, let's just
Yeah,
talk about the state of the heavyweight division because it's absolutely appalling at the moment. Nobody's fighting anybody. No fights have been, we talked about this a while ago. We said this is ages ago. We said that the entire division is waiting for Usyk,
yeah, yeah.
Dubois.
Nothing's
That's
happened.
been and gone. Nobody's done anything. Dave Allen's signed to fight. What else is going on? Like Joe Parker hasn't got a fight in. Caballel doesn't have a fight in.
I thought the IBF had ordered for Joe Parker and Usyk, but
I
obviously
think
that
it gets ordered, doesn't it? But
and then nothing happens.
it
So
just gets ignored, doesn't it? Like all that's just nonsense now. Boxing politics is it's just pointless because whoever's got the money and is willing to pay gets the fight they want. It's just that simple now.
yeah, we'll see what happens after this after this one because if he gets Itauma in a position where something needs to happen with him, hopefully that will nudge things along.
Do you think the other thing is everybody's trying to avoid Atoma, looking for a reason to avoid Atoma?
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. Pretty well, it's kind of like come to a standstill. You've got so many people who are ranked, we'll say number one, but below Usyk in all the various bodies. Like Chisora is what WBA, WBC haven't got one. WBO's Wardley, they're all there. Just what Parker's IBF, they're all there waiting.
There must be something going on
It
because
must be, yeah,
nobody is
something,
signing
yeah,
any
something's got to
fights.
move.
So
Um,
what is going on? What is causing everybody to not? Like there was a reason before. All the
yeah.
belts were tied up.
Normally, there's
No
going
one
to be.
wanted to commit. If you fight it every 9 months to a year,
It's been
what's the point in committing when a belt might become available?
it's been 3 weeks since the Usyk Dubois fight. He hasn't 3 weeks,
I would think so.
and nothing's been vacated yet. Which I know sounds mad, but you'd expect. I'm expecting an announcement on Saturday night, maybe after the fight. Then
Yeah, but everybody needs to get busy. It's like the whole thing. Everybody was going crazy about Joe Parker when he beat Wilder, when he beat Bacoli. They were like, Joe Parker's active. This is what happens when you're active. You get back on it. He's the most
yeah,
inactive boxer going right now.
yeah, but I don't think that's for the one trying, is it? I think
I don't know. It's bit like what's Parker fought? Like what has he fought? It's hardly anything. So Bacoli in 2025. Since
well,
that
that's
before
because
that,
he should have had the Dubois fight, and now I think he's waiting for
why didn't
a shot.
they stick a fight in the meantime? Like
Yeah, I think he's trying to. I mean, his next fight has to be a world title fight, and I think he's just again was waiting on the jerk. Got to be
doesn't
something happening.
sound like he's gonna get it though.
He needs to. He needs to. That's the fight.
Did he not do? He did another video, didn't he? He does his sort of comedy videos.
Yeah.
Did he do
I
another
haven't, I
comedy
haven't seen
video?
it.
No, I haven't seen it. And actually, there's a reason why. Because I don't want heavyweight boxers to be making mockeries of themselves. Like, get on the mic and call someone a bell end. Like, tell them they're shit. Like, come on. I don't think making these videos is really enticing anybody to watch you fight. It doesn't work.
Oh, they do it for me. They do it for me.
But everyone thinks Parker's a bit boring, right? That's the thing. Like,
Yeah.
nobody, he's not an exciting fighter at all.
Yes. Yeah. So these videos, if we bring it back to that, then you're not going to believe it if he starts, effing and Jeffrey and all that.
He could sell that. He could say, "Look, I've been Mr. Nice Guy all along. I'm sick of this shite now. You're all ducking me.
Yeah,
Everyone knows I'm in the best informed fighter going.
but
You're all
now do
dodging."
that. Now do that in your Kiwi accent, knowing that you're best mates with Tyson Fury, and it just it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. Chuck and say it's not. You just feel like I'm trying to think who it was who was trying to be. You know how AJ tries to be a nice guy, and it's not
Yeah.
convincing. He'll be the same. I think his best route is these videos. I'm all for them. In fact,
Uh,
I'd like to see him release a Christmas album full of hits, full of hits.
It's just it, the problem with Joe Parker is there are plenty of fighters you could put him in there with, and you think, "Are you up for watching that?" And the answer's no. You
No,
know, he- he's a 12 round fighter, isn't he, Joe Parker?
yes, they need to give the Usyk fight, then it kind of resets Parker.
Do you think he's going to get it?
Yeah, yeah. I think he must do. He has to.
Do you not think Fury's going to get it?
No, I don't. Well, I don't know. I don't want him to.
What we need, sadly, what boxing needs is Usyk to uh, just throw the towel in and say, I'm done with boxing now." It really
Yeah,
needs it
I think so.
because it's just throttled.
It's weird. I simultaneously want and don't want that to happen.
Yeah, exactly. It's you don't want it to happen because there's a great boxer in great form. Actually, one thing I totally forgot to mention is that Dillian Whyte has got almost no experience at fighting southpaw fighters, which
Oh, really?
does not go in his favor. I think he might
Ah,
have fought one.
yeah. This
That
is
look,
this is this is. I just don't have time to get into this because it's a big debate. But this is why Itauma Usyk wouldn't work either because two southpaws. Usyk would just have too much fun. Yeah,
yeah. I don't
it,
know.
it can be easier for him to hit. Yeah. Anyway.
Cool. We'll leave it there for this week. But are we? Well, we'll definitely be back. I was going to say we'll definitely be back next week, but I won't be here, mate. Unfortunately, I'll be away on holiday. But
We can wait a week after. We'll chat. We'll chat. We'll figure it out.
maybe I'll phone one in. And
Phone one.
I don't mean do a half-assed job of it. That's a given.
We'll promise that. That's regardless of the form.
That's what the fan comes for.
Exactly. That's why he's here. Or she, whoever they
It's
are.
definitely a he.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. Right. See you in a bit, mate.
Cool. See ya.